Hi. So they have baked our pizza bowl, or this is more of a pizza casserole size, but in essence, it's a hot sauces pizza bowl that they have baked in the oven. I actually have my oven on air fry. I prefer the air fry. It seems to cook stuff faster, and it gives everything more of a crispy crust for about 25 minutes at 425. I started it at 375, but then I wanted the top to be a little bit more brown and bubbly, so I ended up turning it up to about 425. So I'm going to pull it out of the oven, and we'll see what we have. Okay, so this looks fabulous. And I can see what is my husband's part with the pepperoni and then my side. So we're focusing on what we would do to make this into something beautifully blended for my particular diet. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop out a little bit. Alright, and I want to say thank you for watching. You've noticed maybe I've changed the lighting a bit since before I put this in the oven. This is my first attempt at a video, and I just have felt very, very passionate about doing something to help other people who have unfortunately found themselves in this predicament of not being able to eat normal food. It's a big adjustment, to say the least. And for those of us who have battled cancer, I'm happy to be alive, but the challenges that we are faced with are something else. And this is just one of them. So, okay, I'm gonna scoop this out. Ooh, there's a lot of nice little cheese in there. And one thing that I just thought, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to have again is pizza. Pizza, hamburgers, all sorts of things. And believe it or not, I have found ways to have all of the flavor and still be able to safely eat it. One thing I haven't tried yet is tofu. I am not a vegetarian, but I think that would be something that would blend absolutely wonderfully, nice and smooth. If you needed some extra protein without the beef, that would be a nice vegetarian option. Okay, my husband's going to love this. I'm going to move this over here. And this actually has a lot of moisture in it, so I probably won't need to add a lot of liquid, but I do have some of the olive juice from the olives that we put into the pizza bowl. I actually have a few more olives here I'm going to add. I'm going to put a little bit of that juice in there. And some of the pineapple juice. This makes it so good. And this is actually looking a bit soupy, so I'm going to add some more cottage cheese as well. These are a few more stewed tomatoes for that flavor. And if I had basil, I would put some basil leaves in, but since I don't, I want to add some fresh parsley. Having a bit of something fresh just really brings all the flavors out, and it just makes it taste better, because they can't handle a lot of spice, so the herbs are the ticket for flavorful freshness in whatever you're making. So, alright, I'm going to add a little bit more cottage cheese. And once again, thanks for bearing with me. I would love feedback from whoever's watching this, requests for recipes. I focus less on the actual recipe and more on the modification for someone with a blended or puree diet. But you name it and we can make it happen. So I would love suggestions. And regarding the blender, this is my go-to. It's just an immersion blender. I have had all kinds of blenders. You name it, I've had it. I've worn them all out. This is my go-to. I will say I use this. This is part of my Ninja. I use this a lot for chopping. You can see I have a brace on my hand. I have some arthritis. Chopping is not easy for me anymore, so this helps me with chopping. And also, it will blend up anything fairly well. But to get more of a smooth consistency, I use my immersion blender. And this thing is amazing. It blends chicken, like crusted bread, beef, and things that it wouldn't think would blend, they do. So, anyway, sometimes you have to think outside the box. Here we go. Welcome back. I was tasting this and have decided that it needs a bit more of the marinara flavor in it. So I let go of this and stepped away to get my marinara. And the whole thing, this, I don't know if you can see this, it's dripping into the cupboard. It is all over me. I'm showing you this because this happens, and you know, I have to choose my attitude. I'm going to laugh about it and do a little quick cleanup, but when you're using blenders a lot, you're bound to have some blender explosions. If you put hot stuff into a closed blender, it will sometimes explode because of the pressure. Tall, narrow things like this will fall over. If you have a feeding tube, I'm sure you've had blowouts with your feeding tube. So I went ahead and I'm filming this because I want you to know that you're not alone. It happens. I'm going to clean all this up and I'll be right back. Oh, this is a mess. Big mess. Okay, we are just about back in business. So these immersion blenders, they do come apart and they're very top heavy. So if we're going to leave it unattended to avoid happening what I have just happened to me, to avoid having happened to you what just happened to me, just disconnect it before you walk away and it probably won't fall over and make a big mess. So unfortunately I lost some of my creation, but I have enough here to make it work. So I was in the middle of tasting it is what happened, and I thought, oh, I can use a bit more marinara flavor. So one more. Okay, maybe just a smidge more pineapple. There we go. it's looking pretty smooth. If I was someone who couldn't handle any bits of anything, if it irritated my throat, I would run this through a strainer. And you can do that with any vegetable kitchen strainer, and it will sift out anything that might irritate you. You can also add things like cream cheese, and that makes it really creamy and smooth. But for me, this is going to be perfect. Okay, so I have pulled my husband's back out of the oven. I've plated his up here, and you can see it's going to have some of that nice little bit cheese in there with the pepperoni. And his looks beautiful. And mine will be as well. So I always like to do something fun for serving. You know, when it's always a blended or puree, that it's important to make it look as good as it tastes. So to do that, I use fun bowls. I have a variety of mugs, bowls, different things that just bring me joy when I look at them, so it's not boring. And I always add a drizzle. So the dazzle is in the drizzle. I use a Mexican crema. There are all kinds of things that you can drizzle with. There's various sauces. Now, another great thing about this is that you can mix it with different herbs. I could have blended this up with some parsley or basil and made it into like an herb crema, but I'm going to leave it plain and just garnish them with a bit of parsley and voila.